They say love is built on trust, but what happens when that trust is just an illusion? This is the story of a man who thought he had finally found happiness, only to uncover a web of lies, deceit, and betrayal. Buckle up because this one's a wild ride. Late 2019, I was an over-the-road truck driver after being medically discharged from the Army. It wasn't ideal being away from my family so much, but it allowed me to make a really good living to support my family. My wife at the time began talking to someone, moved him in while I was away, and kicked me out of my own house. I filed divorce, obviously. After posting a rant on Facebook about my situation, an old coworker, whom I'd attended training with for a regional airline, reached out to me to offer her support. One thing led to another, and we eventually started dating in early 2020. My divorce was still ongoing, but there was no way I was going to change my mind, so we started a relationship. At the time, she was a flight attendant. With COVID running rampant and the talks of involuntary layoffs, she left her job and got a local job so we could be together. We had a pretty good relationship, or so I thought. The job she took was in the hospital, and again, COVID going on, she was stressed out because she was seeing people die in the hospitals regularly. She left that job and went to stay with her family the next state over. I had always wondered why she went back there when we were in a relationship, but we seemed to make it work. I was gone a lot as a truck driver still, so we'd meet up on weekends, and we made it work. I had proposed to her by this time, bought her a nice engagement set and everything. While she expressed early on in our relationship that she wanted to date with a purpose, and she accepted my proposal, she refused to ever update anything on Facebook or social media to reflect this. Although her profile did show that she was in a relationship with me, at least from what I could see from my own profile. It may have been hidden from anyone else. We still maintained what I thought was a pretty good relationship, with the exception that we had a minor argument about her staying in contact with her ex-BF, who just so happens to be an airline pilot. I told her I thought it was inappropriate to stay in contact with exes, and she agreed to cut off contact. I had never looked through her phone or the phone bill details to see who she was talking to because I thought I could trust her. And early on in the relationship, she told me how her ex-husband would always look through her phone and that she didn't want to be in a relationship with someone who felt that this was necessary, as it implies a lack of trust. We were doing good in our relationship, and my divorce was finalized after almost 2 years. She ended up moving back in with me, and I bought a nice home for us. Everything seemed perfect. In early 2022, COVID was winding down, and she expressed a desire to go back to flying. I had no problem with this, and want her to have a job that she loved, seeing as how she has always had a passion for the aviation industry. She would commute home when she had time off, and again, our relationship seemed to be going just fine. Last summer, however, she befriended a male coworker that she was based with and began going out to eat, getting drinks, and taking day trips with him, since they could both fly for free. Again, I confronted her about this because I felt it was inappropriate, and that she would be angry if I was doing the same thing with a female coworker. I was assured that he was just a friend, and that they often have other crew members with them when they go out. I was also accused of being jealous and insecure, and judging her based on my experience with my ex-wife. In essence, she gaslighted me. In August 2022, I sold my Marshall home and made a bit of a profit. I took care of some things of my own, but used over half of the profits to help her. I bought her a commuter car so I wouldn't have to meet her at the airport when she commuted home, and paid off her credit cards to the tune of about $5,000. I didn't mind really, because a lot of the expenses she had charged was either for household goods at our home or travel expenses incurred when commuting. Late that month, she drove the car to the airport to go back to work. That was the last time I saw her. She wanted to spend time with her family the next month, which I was fine with, so I didn't see her in September. Early October, around the time she normally comes home for close to a week, she expressed that she felt like she was holding me back in life by not being home with me and my children very much, and that I deserved someone more present in my life. I took this as a spin on the classic, "It's not you, it's me" line. I told her we should think it over before splitting up. A few days later, I reluctantly agreed that it was hard to have a relationship when she was only home a few days a month, and sometimes used that time to spend with family, so we would go months without actually being together. I was heartbroken, but I knew that there wasn't much of a point in continuing the relationship, even though I loved her dearly. Fast forward to the day before Thanksgiving. We had split up about a month and a half ago by this time. She calls me to chat, which we would do from time to time since we split up amicably. During the conversation, she asks if I'm seeing anyone, and I reply that I am talking to someone. She says that she is as well, and after some conversation, she tells me that it's her male coworker, whom I thought she was being inappropriate with months before. The guy is married, by the way. I become furious. I acted out of character, confronted him directly. I found his phone number on my phone bill, and he tells me that he asked her out and she accepted on October 7th, the same day that she brought up the possibility of us splitting up. She tells me he's separated, going through divorce, and a whole string of far-fetched stories justifying her actions. In essence, even though she doesn't admit it, she left me for this guy, and I have no reason to believe that there wasn't something going on before we split up. Again, I'm furious, hurt, betrayed, all at once. I contact the guy's wife. She's angry as well. Eventually, my ex leaves the guy after realizing that he was not getting divorced and he has lied to her. She called me to thank me for letting her know a few weeks later, but then tells me she's with someone else. I ask her if it's her pilot ex-BF, who also lives in the area, and she would only tell me that she is going to keep her relationship private from now on. In my opinion, this basically confirms that is in fact who she is dating. At this time, I'm over her, over the heartache, and moving on with my own relationship, which is flourishing. One day not long ago, I log on to pay my phone bill and have a random inclination to see if I can still see her phone records from the time that we had a joint plan. I can. I see a phone number that she is making and receiving calls from multiple times a day, almost daily, for the entire time we were together. I do a little research and learn that this number belongs to the pilot ex-BF, whom she had agreed to not contact anymore. So not only did she leave me for the coworker last autumn, but she was most likely cheating on me with her ex the entire time we were together. Now I have to question the entire relationship. Was I even her main man, or was I just on the side and she was still dating that guy the entire time? Who knows? All I know now is that you never really know who people are or what they are hiding. I truly believe that moving back to her home state, going back to flying, etc., was all just ways in which she could cheat on me without being caught very easily. I guess she pulled it off because I didn't even find out until afterwards. Anyway, that's just my story. If I've learned anything, I've learned one, that if a person is very secretive about their phone, they're hiding something. 2, if a person willingly puts distance between the two of you, they're up to something. And 3, flight attendants are hoes. In the end, the truth always comes out. Sometimes it just takes a little longer to see the signs. What do you think? Were there red flags all along? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more jaw-dropping tales on Foxy Cheating Tales.